I can't understand what you're saying. Your camera is weird. It's all dark and there's these lines all over it. I don't understand it. I can't understand anything unless it looks like a Netflix original series with a slow drone tracking shot and a really deadpan Wes Anderson pseudo face accompanied by 3 piano notes. Help me.
Just wanted to anticipate some of the negative feedback I will probably get from this video. But I don't know why the camera does this, and I don't care. And neither do the patrons that I have at patreon.com/Franken. At least they haven't said so. I have very little to say beyond to my patrons each week. I have very little to say to the internet these days. I never was an internet person. I never wanted to be an internet person. And there you go, Jack. It just is what it is. But if you want to see me on a more regular basis, even with the flickery camera and whatnot, and hear my opinions on things, you can become a patron at patreon.com/Franken. But I am only making this today to plug something. I'm not a marketer, as you can tell. But I'm plugging something that's very important to me because it is a return to something that I really loved once upon a time. I'm returning to the theatre. Yes, you heard me right, the theatre. What do you mean? You're doing comedy again? Well, yes, I'm doing comedy, but much later in the year. 29th of September, I'll be in Wales. My friend Paul James doing a few performances there. No, I'm actually returning to the theatre. I have not been in a play in over 25 years, and I've been in a lot of plays. Bus Stop, William Minge, and I was the lead in The Imaginary Invalid by Molière. Anyway, the Canterbury Shakespeare Festival, that's Canterbury, England, of the Tales fame and Thomas à Becket and all of that. Canterbury Shakespeare Festival is doing a production of Faustus, and I think it was mid-May, or maybe early May. But I auditioned for this play, and I submitted a soliloquy of Richard III's opening soliloquy, which I've now forgotten the whole thing. But I memorized the whole thing, and then I got the role, the only role that I wanted, by the way. What was it? Do you know the tragical history of? Well, did I tell you the play already? The play is The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe, and the role I wanted was not Faustus, so therefore that's right, it was Mephistopheles. I got cast as Mephistopheles, and I wanted to be Mephistopheles because that's how I feel about the world right now. I wanted to be fucking evil, or at least conventionally evil. So I have had a blast. It's been the last few months have been so happy, no matter what the hell was going on in the world and in my finances and in my career or whatever. The 2 hours that I was in rehearsal, because we had our penultimate dress rehearsal last night, and we got one more rehearsal on Saturday, and then the first show was on. Have I done the dates yet? The first show was on the 30th of July at 7:30 p.m. at St. Thomas's Church Hall in Canterbury, England. That's 7:30 p.m., 30th of July. So the dates are the 30th, 31st July, 6th and 7th of July, 30th, 31st of July, 6th and 7th, 13th and 14th of August, all at 7:30 p.m. and all at St. Thomas's Church Hall in Canterbury. Christopher Marlowe's The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus. And no matter what was happening over these last 2 months, I mean, I could have been so fucked up about so many other things, and I was, but the 2 hours that I was in rehearsal, I was just totally at peace. I mean, in the worst case scenario, I was totally at peace. Best case scenario, I was just brimming with happiness. It has been a joyful experience for me to return, and I'm really, really looking forward to this production. I'm quite fond of my fellow cast members. I'm really happy to be working under two amazing directors, Niara and Fiona. I'm not going to mention her surname. I don't even know if she's going to watch this. I don't even know if they know I have a YouTube channel. Somebody said that we did this opening gala and we did kind of like a trailer So the person playing Faustus and I, we did a little. Sorry, that went a little bit weird there for a second. The person playing Faustus and I, we did our opening scene together as kind of a teaser to drum up interest. And somebody at the bar later said, where did they pull you out from?" And then they were all surprised to hear that I had an American accent. And I love the kind of anonymity that, like I did. I mean, they know kind of vaguely that I did. The first rehearsal, they say, introduce yourself and tell us about, And I said, well, I did comedy for 20 years, and I just, it got so political and stupid, and there was like they're so unashamed in the comedy world of admitting that they're Philistines now. It's about traffic and getting hits and likes and emojis. And I was on TikTok. I did a show on TikTok, and I wanted to get back into theater, and it's made me happy. This has been a really happy experience for me. And so I'll just mention, my one of my directors, because we've had so many changes. We've had one director drop out and another one take over. But my director, Fiona, so we have two directors. There's Niara and there's Fiona, and they're both great. But Fiona has been with the play a little bit longer, and the moment Fiona, first 30 seconds, Fiona was talking, and she said something about commedia dell'arte, and it was a few right, but the ways I was like, God, I missed this, man. I missed, dissecting a scene and blocking it out, and reacting to somebody else, and I'm over the moon to be playing Mephistopheles. And I don't know. Every day I have a different speech that becomes my favorite speech, and it's hard to pick which one I like the most. There's I don't know if you know the player. I had only read, by the way, Goethe's version of the story, which was written much later, and which actually, to my memory, and I could be wrong. And see, I'm not going to look it up right now because that's cheating. But I remember that Faustus does repent in the end, and it's a happy ending. Where that is not the case in Faustus's original version, which is he vacillates all the way through, thanks to my fuckery of it. And the original director, I didn't know this about the character Mephistopheles or the legend of Mephistopheles. That and if you don't know the story, by the way, Faustus is the guy who sells his soul to a devil, a demon, me. For 24 years of power on this earth, and only thinks about it much later, like, holy shit, it's midnight 24 years later. And then, so yeah, the term Faustian and all that comes from there. But I'm also playing one other character, but that itself is also an extension of Mephisto, thanks to a brilliant directorial decision by Fiona. And I don't want to give it away in case you do see me. So you'll see me actually play Mephisto all the way through, and then in one moment where I'm doing something else. But that's just another bit of fuckery on Mephisto's part to fuck with Faustus. But the original director, she did send me something really cool, and it was Mephisto, according to her, or this source that she was looking at, he, in the battle in heaven, didn't know what side to be on, or he was too afraid to take a side between good and evil. And by default, he got thrown into hell, which I think is really funny. He was like, well, I'll sit this one out. But because he sat it out, the battle between good and evil, he got punished anyway. And I found that so funny. And so when we were doing this kind of character analysis, and they said, who do you think Mephisto is? And I said, you know what I think he is? I think of, there's a lot of culture war assholes that I think Mephisto could be, that's not the way I'm playing him, but I think that whole story reminds me of the culture war assholes. There's no good and evil, so I'm just going to sit this one out. I'm not saying I believe in climate change. I'm not saying I don't believe in climate change. Why can't we just have a debate? Ugh. And then they just kind of play at both sides, but really they're actually just playing into the hell of the generating shit for the algorithm, without having any principles attached to it. And I thought, oh man, I'll go with that to a certain extent. And then sometimes I just play him really fucking evil. So, God, there's something I almost want to do a little. But anyway, again, I'm going to remind you, because this is all about plugging the show. And tomorrow, by the way, if anybody's interested, I'm teaching a course based in New Zealand. Obviously, I'm going to do it over Zoom. but it's on audio comedy production. I was re-listening to my Silvatico series, and I'm really fucking proud of that, because no matter how shitty I look on the screen right now, I'm fucking damn proud of my audio comedy work. And so I'll be teaching a course in audio comedy production, and I'm going to include a link if you do want to sign up for that. You don't have to live in New Zealand to take it. And that'll be I'll put it in the description of this video. I won't probably be reading any comments, because I know there's one guy, it doesn't matter what I put up, that great gig from Birmingham, which I love, you put up, and everybody can fucking hear this, and you know what, it sounds the same as it sounded in the venue that night. And the guy's the first one. I really like your comedy, but why can't you have a better sound person? You know why? Because I'm not a businessman. I'm a live performer. I'm very good at audio stuff. Not to mention, I don't have the disposable income to buy the X System 4.55 Google Samsomatic. Nor do I give a shit, That's why I'm getting back into the old school thing with treading the boards? Yeah, treading the boards, the grease paint, the theater, the thespian society. Faustus, blessed Faustus. My dear Faustus. So, but I really hope somebody can make it. I don't know, Canterbury might be a trek for some of you, especially in America. But I thought, this thing means so much to me. So that's tomorrow. If you want to take the course, you can pop in audio production. Then it's Faustus for those 6 dates, and then I'm doing a show in the Welsh Valleys, a couple shows in the Welsh Valleys, comedy, on the 29th of September. And most of that, I don't really, I don't make public videos really much anymore. So say if I get an idea for some massive thing, I'll do that as an album or something like that. But I think, well, you have to become a patron to know what I think about things. I gave a lot away. I think in the olden times, I just thought, if you build it, they will come. Just tell people, and no, it's all rigged, man. It's an algorithm rigging. The algorithm teaches us stuff. Scientists have discovered that algorithm teaches us about stuff. Yes, it teaches us that if you feed into something, it'll spit it back out at you. That's what it teaches us. Meanwhile, if you're not part of a single cell amoeba, which is they're trying to turn the human race into, but you do still consider the human race to be composed of individuals, you might consider coming to the tragical history of Faustus. I'm looking up at the poster on the wall, the beautiful picture of the Faustus and then the demons hovering above him. Tut, Faustus, marriage is but a ceremonial toy. If thou lovest me, think no more of it. I'll cull thee out the fairest courtesans, and bring them every morning to thy bed. She whom thine eyes shall like, thy heart shall have, were she as beautiful as was bright Lucifer before his fall. So sometimes it just depends how I'm feeling at the moment. I've asked him, I said, I'm not going over the top, Em. I said, no, they like it. Whatever I'm doing, they like. So, now, Faustus, what wouldst thou have me do? Or I don't want to give it away, but obviously if you've read it, you're going to know how it ends anyway. But I have so many favorite moments. But I do love this one. See if I do confess it, Faustus, and rejoice. 'Twas I that, when thou wert in the way to heaven, dammed up thy passage. When thou took the book to view the scriptures, then I turned the leaves and led thine eye. What? Weep'st thou? 'Tis too late. Despair. Farewell. Fools that will laugh on earth must weep in hell. So trying to bring a mixture of comedy and fear, which I like to think that I did that throughout most of my career. Comedy and fear. I don't want to do the whole play for you, but I do love running my line. I missed memorizing. I missed so much about the theater. I missed memorizing. I love memorizing because you can do so many things while you memorize. You can make your bed, you can wash dishes, you can go for a walk, you can do anything and memorize. And Marlowe's language is very interesting. It's almost contemporary. If you know the play, it's almost like vaguely contemporary, not quite, because they've got all the these and thous in there. And he does this weird thing where he'll often end a prose speech with almost an unintended type of couplet, rhyming couplet at the end in a lot of places. What's this thing I say to Lucifer? Just to give you an example. And his laboring brain begets a world of idle fantasies to overreach the devil, but all in vain. His store of pleasures must be sauced with pain. Or what's this one about the pray? He's got an internal rhyme with one of my opening speeches. Therefore, the shortest cut for conjuring is stoutly to abjure the Trinity and pray devoutly to the Prince of Hell. This is going to be a lot of fun. And it just hit me yesterday when we finished our penultimate dress rehearsal. I thought, you know what? I don't really do things internet-wise for the public anymore. And I like that. I don't write anything on social media, and that couldn't have been a better decision. I think 3-4 years have gone by, not a single opinion on social media. If you want to know anything, become a patron. If you don't, because it's just a racket, man. That's the fascist setup, right? So fascism is about conformity, right? So we can play this game all we want. This politician's a fascist and that one's not. This one's a red one and that one's a blue one, and we can pretend all we want that one's a fascist and one's not. But the fact that you can openly hate them shows that it's not a political thing. It's a technocratic thing, because this is the unifier right here. This is the conformity inducer. This technological apparatus, this education technology, computer science, computer technology in the classroom, computer technology in the workplace, computer technology when it comes to finding a job, working from home, etc., etc., etc. This is a little bit more like the kind of globalized unilateral conformity that we would expect in a fascist system, but. We're not talking about the tragical history of fascism. We're talking about the tragical history of Faustus. This wasn't supposed to be an opinion video, and it's not going to be. Bloody well, not. I'm just bounding with enthusiasm. It's been the happiest, well, not the happiest, but I feel like like I say, no matter what was going on that day, when I was in rehearsal, we've only got one rehearsal left. The 2 hours that I'm in rehearsal, everything's all right. Everything's fine. And it's we have these little debates about is there good? I believe in good and evil. I do, and I had my latest theory, and I don't know much about Marlowe, but I think Marlowe might have been a Catholic. And I think I have a hunch it was that one extra layer of satire that it looks like he's taking the piss out of Catholicism, but really he was. And I think he was whacked by the Queen. I don't think he was killed in a brawl. I think he was whacked. That's my latest theory. And you can have these discussions in the theater, and it's really nice. And we have, the great organizers. The whole festival's a wonderful experience, and it just hit me it hit me last night when I was leaving. I thought, I want to do my little bit to plug this thing. So again, that is St. Thomas's Church Hall in Canterbury, as part of the, I think, 10th Canterbury Shakespeare Festival, and 7:30 p.m. the 30th, 31st of July, 6th and 7th, 13th and 14th of August. Come see me play Mephistopheles, I would say the other half to Faustus. We have this really weird relationship, he needs me, I play along with him, we become kind of chummy, and then I reveal to him in the end, like, you fucked up. You fucked up so bad, and it's just delicious, man. It really is delicious, and I wanted, like I said, I wanted that role. And when it came time to choose an audition piece, I I thought I want an English villain, and I chose Richard III's opening soliloquy. And thanks to the kind people of the festival, I get to play a role I always wanted to play. Mephistopheles, man. I mean, it's just, he's a bastard. He's a right fucking bastard, like all demons are. I'm not saying he's cool. He's definitely not, that'd be too reductive. He's not cool. He's a vacillator. He's a coward. He chose the wrong side. But he's got some good lines. But I think there's a continuity with the Divine Comedy. Then you got Faustus. And I think Milton might have gotten a little bit from Marlowe, even though Milton was not who knows? I think he might have gotten a little bit from it. And it's not that the devil has the best lines, that old cliche. It's the devil has the lines that most people want to hear. Yes, that's true. Why not fuck people over? Yes. It's not that he has the best lines. It's just that he says he often says the things that appeal most to where people are at. Well, I rightly said, fuck him. I like that he said that. Be all good, would it be good? And the lady playing Faustus really is one. I couldn't have asked for a better Faust. There are absolute moments of heartbreak, for me, like when I'm playing on her, vulnerability. And it's like, it's been a real pleasure to act with her and to see her break down, and I keep fucking with her and like, no, we're not buddies. Remember you gave me your soul. So goddamn it, I got to wrap up and do other stuff. Tomorrow, teaching a course, 11 p.m. British time, but it'll be a different time in New Zealand where the course is being hosted. I'll put a link there. That's on audio comedy production. Next up, Faustus, The Tragical History of Dr. Faustus by Christopher Marlowe. Canterbury Shakespeare Festival, the 7:30 p.m., St. Thomas Churches Hall, 30th, 31st July, 6th, 7th, 13th, and 14th August. That's it. I got to rock. Good night.